since this is for women, I want women to feel feminine and powerful at the same time.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. So
Thank
should we
you.
get kind of going here, ladies?
Yes.
All right.
Ready.
Well, I'm going to go to share screen and we will bring this up here.
I'll
Share.
keep us on the Facebook page. So anybody that's joining, if you guys are viewing this on the Facebook group and you can't join us on Zoom here live, no problem at all. We will keep your comments going. And so we've got 3 in the hot seat today.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And so, it doesn't matter if you haven't started this yet, grab the first day and then just follow along and go back and watch the videos, because you will get a ton of information from this. And if you follow it, it will really change your business. So
Mm-hmm.
that being said, Shelley, let's kick off day 4.
Yay, the final day of the 4-day challenge. Woohoo! So first, because it is the last day, I just want to kind of remind everybody of where we have been. So day 1 of the Be Visible 4-day challenge, we talked about creating the right strategy. And then, so that was Tuesday. On Wednesday, we talked about targeting the right platform. And we talked about not just knowing the demographics of the platform, but what are the demographics of your ideal client. Then yesterday, we talked about knowing what to say and when to say it. And that has brought us into building your unique story, which is the final day of the challenge. And this is still, about storytelling. And when we when we build our unique story, it has to reach out and grab someone's heart. And I want to give Glenna some props. She has been really taking advantage of the learning and trying new things, and has been putting up some content that is just amazing. And I hope that it gets you the reward. I hope that you reap the reward of stepping out and trying some new things that are going to bring your audience closer to you and knowing your heart. So I want to applaud you for that. Jess has also dropped a couple things since we've been doing the challenge. And again, all we can do is experiment. I mean, we have to always be curious and experimenting. And if we try something and it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. It just isn't. So just remember that it's cool to experiment. So today, the 4 parts we're going to talk about are metaphors, pictures and placement, testimonials, also reviews and referrals, and then finally, how critical authenticity is to the entire process and your business, whether you sell a service or a product or a combination. Authenticity wins every time. So let's get right on to it. The power of metaphors. We live in such a image conscious world. Everything is pictures or video. That is how people consume information now. And it is what attracts them to content. We've all heard the saying, a picture's worth 1,000 words. So as you go about your life, look for visuals of a metaphor because they are everywhere. So the picture that I chose to put into this page today is what? It's a split in the road, right? It's a crossroad. So that's going to be in part 3 here, but just to get you thinking about, what kind of pictures would be something that would be a metaphor, or how can I use it? Other examples of metaphor. And first I'm going to talk about the difference between metaphor and simile, because I think people get confused by this. So a metaphor uses a word in place of another to suggest a likeness. A simile is a figure of speech that compares the dissimilar thing I got a spell check here. 2 dissimilar things, often introduced by the words like or as. So metaphor, the snow was a white blanket over the sleepy town. So you're creating a picture with words. She is a shining star on the stage. Her long hair was a flowing golden river. Not so if I was saying a simile, if I was using a simile here, the snow was like a white blanket over the sleepy town. So instead of saying this is, I'm saying it is like. That's the difference between metaphor and simile. Everybody got that part?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yes.
So we can use pictures when we are creating content, whether it's in a blog post, it's a meme, a post for your website or your Facebook page, your Instagram page, your LinkedIn content. It doesn't matter. When we can add a picture, it draws more attention. And if we can use a picture that is representative of the content or some piece of the content, then that helps our brains to connect things. So we can use a picture to set the stage. So this picture, when I come to a crossroad in life, I have a decision to make. How I make that decision is as important as the decision itself. So I would use that in a post all day long, as I'm really creating some deep thinking there, but the picture really brings it all together. Can anyone, does anyone want to contribute some ideas or things that you've used as a metaphor, or pictures that you've supported a metaphorical post with?
I have done some winter videos. I haven't, yeah, so maybe, so I think I can think of one. I was walking down the path and it was full of snow. So it was actually pretty deep. And so I compared it to the obstacles that we face in life. And and I said, no, it doesn't matter what the weather is like. And even if there is snow on the ground, if there's a will and a determination to do your walk every day, you will overcome all of the deep snow in life too. So something similar to that. Yeah. So that's all I can think of right now. But yeah, it's powerful what you say. Um, just making use of everything that we film or that we capture, to use it as a metaphor somehow to convey a point, right? And so there's not just a pretty scene, or it's not just nature, it's speaking to the people. Oh yes, and I've used birds also, the singing of birds to the music of life. Yeah, so I try to do that. Yeah.
Ooh, that gave me goosebumps too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that simple awareness, right? When you start focusing on the things that you want to see, you start to see the things that you need. And it starts to teach you different things. It speaks to your soul. And that's where you want to connect to your audience, because they want to hear that. They want to hear your journey. What do you see when you come to this place in this road?
Talking about the deep snow, Glynis also brought to me an idea of the seasons of life. So, you were in the winter, and the winter is a season of life. And so I could build something around that. There's just, if you start thinking about it, brainstorming, and here's an idea I would really encourage, there are chats. There's a chat option within the Scale for Women group. And if you need some help brainstorming, maybe jump on there and start a chat in the group and see who can join you or who has time to join, and just start brainstorming together, because we know that two minds bring more than just two minds to the table. You're starting a collective there. And so a lot of synergy can happen there. Because sometimes we're trying to do it all by ourselves. And really, you know, I mean, it's okay, but oh my goodness, when I can bounce things off somebody else and then they
Right.
go, oh, well, that makes me think of this. Or, oh my goodness, how about this instead? Or as a part of, or, you know, the yes and of
Mhm.
improv. I love improv, by the way.
You
So,
do?
oh my goodness, yeah, it's a great way to brainstorm, problem solve, the improv of yes and instead of either or, you know, those types of situations, always doing the yes and.
That's
So,
great.
mhm.
Wonderful. Yeah, let me know on another note whether you belong to any improv clubs or anything like that. They always fascinated me. Yeah.
I have a couple of friends that who are also coaches who came out of improv and into coaching. And so they really have married that and integrated the improv style with coaching and training. And it's fascinating.
Mhm.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. I'll
And
contact you to know more.
you're part of
Sure.
Toastmasters, so that's a really great group too. If
Mhm.
Yes,
you don't
we
belong
do
to
that all
something
the
like
time.
that, yes. So
Yeah,
improv, forcing yourself to get out of your comfort zone, right?
yeah,
And then just show up to think of an idea or an object and then speak into it. You can do that in writing. You can do that in creating content. Just
Mhm.
thinking of something that has inspired you over the last 24 hours
right.
and set that stage.
Yeah. I usually do that on my podcast. It's just improv. It's not prepared what I say
Mhm.
there. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
So the
okay.
next thing we're going to talk about is pictures and placement. When you're taking your own pictures, landscape or portrait, and we touched on this just a little bit yesterday, but both work. But remember, landscape will probably serve you better more often because you can crop a landscape photo, but you cannot add to a portrait. So it's easier to crop. And in fact, the picture that I put in here is one of my pictures with me offset. And it's a landscape picture that I cropped and then built in my words, helping you to build bridges between knowing and doing. So the bridge in the background, you can see the bridge in the background and then my words because, you know, getting them right and where did I want to have them. So that's a way that you can build posts that help to bridge mentally what you're saying
Mhm.
to something that really gets anchored. Um, look, they look where you do. This is an interesting thing, and I had never thought about it. I learned this in a workshop that I attended, and Mitch says people tend to look in the direction the person they're looking at is. So when you're taking photos, take some looking in various directions. So if I want to take some pictures, I'm going to move around on my screen here. I might want to look this way. And then when I put my post together, wherever I'm looking, I want my words over here. People are going to see me, and then they're going to look at the words. And so you want to do that from both sides because you may need to put a picture on one side and then a picture on the other side. If you have you're driving along like a blog post, you want to have pictures interspersed, right? Or maybe you want to take a picture of you looking up and maybe pointing up to something or pointing to the
Or pointing
side,
down.
pointing down,
Mhm.
thumbs up. So get creative, have fun, and then just get on Canva or Adobe. I mean, a lot of people are using Adobe, but I love Canva personally. But I did see the other day that Adobe is going to be they're going to be taking the price off of their programs. It used to be affordable a few years ago. It went to like $600 a year
Mm.
for the Adobe Pros, with the Illustrator and Photoshop and all that stuff. So I saw the other day that they are going to be going back to free or a much more affordable pricing. So that's exciting. Okay, so placement. Being in the offset gives you that room to add text. And then again, going back and just thinking about if you're in a place where you want to take a true selfie and it's straight on, totally cool, do that. But then have some fun with taking a few more with you in offset positions within the frame. Get creative. Now we're going to talk about this thing that everybody just, oh, this is not, that ask. Oh, I don't want to ask somebody. I'm a burden. I'm a this. Ooh, get over it, ladies. We don't get anything we don't ask for, or very rarely. So someone else telling your story or telling the story of how your service or your product helped them creates instant credibility for you. We talked about in one of the first couple of days how important peer review is in today's world. Consumers go, that's why, back in the day when print was still a big deal, Consumer Reports, huge readership. Why? Because it was someone outside of the organization reviewing products. And Angie's List is a great, honestly, they're a great business model for peer review.
Mhm.
Angie's List, when they started, was all about helping people to find service and product providers based on other customers' experiences. So we know how powerful it is to have testimonials, reviews, and if you're a product-based business, whatever website you're using, whether it's Etsy or Shopify or Amazon, utilize the review portion and make sure you stay up with it, because you want to see and know what your customers are thinking and saying about your product. What's the best kind of testimonial to get? Well, we can get written testimonials, and those are great to put in our websites, our newsletters, even a blog or online. Like I did one, I had a testimonial from a client, and I got her permission. Obviously, well, I asked, I said, hey, Santa, would you be willing to write a testimonial for the training I just did for you guys? And she said, of course I would. And I had it that afternoon. And so I took the testimonial and I built on Canva a Facebook post and a LinkedIn post. And I had a picture of Santa and I included it in the post so people could see who was saying this about me.
Mhm.
Because again, pictures draw attention. And people know this is a real person who is saying this about you. So written with the picture is second best. Video is the king. If you can get video testimonials, and Glennis had one that she put into the Facebook group with her little friend, and it was darling. It was cute. And guess what? It was just so real. And that's what people want, is real. I want to know really what someone thinks about you. So that was, it was awesome. And I appreciated you taking suggestions and feedback, changing the music and lowering the volume. Really, I could hear her then, the second one you posted. And then the captions were coming up too, which also helped, because that little girl talks fast.
Yeah, she was nervous. She was nervous and she didn't do the 30 seconds, but she did, in spite of her shyness, she did the video for me. And I was so happy that she did that. I'm trying to get to work with the neighborhood kids. I spend time with them every evening, just teaching them a few things here and there. So she's one of the kids. And yes, so public speaking is not her thing, but she did such a cute little job. Thank you.
Oh, she did. It was amazing. It was awesome.
And think what that did for her. the
Yeah.
empowerment that that gave to her. Just ask her, right? It's the blocking the blessing. Like if you ask someone to do something that you think is uncomfortable and they step into it, wow, that changes. Maybe they've never been able to do that before. And so now you've given them permission to speak up.
Right.
Mhm.
The one
Absolutely.
thing that I will suggest here, Glennis, and for anyone who is using minors in their videos to get parental consent, and I would get it signed if I could, whether it's an electronic document or a paper document. But we want to
Okay.
be very careful about protecting those that are the least able to protect themselves.
Yes, and I did ask her mom actually. Her mom was okay with me sharing it on my social media. So yes, that's a
That's
good point.
Yes,
Yeah.
just, throwing that out. We just have to, we do as business owners, we also have to be respectful and responsible about how we are using social media if we're including other people in it, which we want to do. And that's why we get, can you give me a testimonial? And here's a little, what's the word I'm looking for? Release.
That's right. That's right.
So, we gotta be responsible for them and us. All right, so point number 2, you have to do the ask and you've got to get really comfortable with it. And here's another thing, you can give prompts. If you ask someone for a testimonial or review and they're like, oh, I don't know what to say. Well, write something up for them and then ask them to tweak it and then approve it. And then you've got it back and you're ready to go.
Mhm.
30 to 45-second video is powerful if they're comfortable. And it's really important to make asking a part of your processes and systems. And Melanie is the queen of process and systems. I'm the princess because I am a high I and in DISC, any of you that know about DISC. And so I'm, in Strengths Finders, I'm woo, I'm positivity, I am communicator, I am activator, and I'm futurist. So you know what that means? I'm disorganized. So I have to create systems and processes in order not to miss anything and to make sure that I follow through and get things done. So make asking a part of your process, just like when you are asking for referrals. And you need to be specific. So if you have someone that you want to meet or be introduced to, and you know someone who knows them, don't ask somebody, hey, do you know anybody who might be interested in blah, 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 or my product? No, you say, hey, I'm looking for an introduction to so-and-so because I believe that I would be able to bring value to them. Would you be open to making that introduction for me? And that can be by email, it can be by phone, it can be by Zoom. I mean, you pick the method that they're comfortable with. When I was in field training back in the day before Zoom and all that kind of stuff, we had little note cards that we would write that were pre-written little note cards that said, hey, I do business with Shelly, and she has really brought value to our employees. I believe you really should sit down and talk to her for 20 minutes. And then they signed their name. We got their business card, put it in there. And then guess what? When I walked into that business that I had that card for, and I hit the gatekeeper, and they're like, oh, well, so-and-so's in a meeting. Great. Can you please give them this card? I'll wait for you to do that. And we got to be confident, man, when we're going in there.
Mhm.
But
I really like that. Yeah, that's
more often
wonderful.
than not, that decision maker would come out. Because usually the gatekeeper tells you they're always in a meeting, right? Or they're on the phone right now. Great. Can you please give them this card? And it's in an envelope with their name written on it by who's giving the referral. So it's not my handwriting. So they're looking at this envelope and they open it and they read it and they're like, oh, okay. So they come out. And more often than not. And then because you know what? I don't have a problem with cold calling, but I would much rather be walked in a door, even if it's through a written message.
Mhm.
I have a much better chance of getting to the person I want to see. But if I don't make that initial ask, I'm probably going to spend a lot more time and a lot more energy and have a lot more headaches trying to figure out how I'm going to get to that decision maker. So referrals, ask if they can make the introduction, be specific. Do you know so-and-so? Can you help me to get an introduction to so-and-so? And this is why, don't be afraid to ask.
Cuts the time in half.
At
At least in
least,
half.
at least. Any comments or how are you guys feeling about this part?
Yeah,
How
I
you-
really like this tip about write it up yourself and have them tweak and approve. That is really a good thing because you could ask for the referral and the person wants to give it, but they don't have the time to write it. And so you writing it and giving it to them makes it so much easier for them. So
Mhm.
my question is, where do you then put this testimonial? Just suppose it's I mean, I don't know
A
whether you'll
written
ever
one?
yeah, the written one that you get, like say if I get it from the school principal or I get it from the parent or whatever. I have put some testimonials on my website, but
Mhm.
do you take the same thing and you duplicate it in your Instagram, or how do you do it on
Yes.
your LinkedIn? You have to take it and put it everywhere else, right? So
Yes.
you have to make it
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's why I think, if you can get proficient, you don't have to be an expert, but if you can get proficient on Canva or Adobe, something that can help you to construct a post that would contain both pictures and content, words, that is a much stronger post than the text alone.
right,
Because
right,
people
right.
are drawn to the photograph or to a background color. So even if you don't have like a picture of the person, at least use a background color so that it draws attention.
Or the
Right.
picture of the event. So Glennis, you do a
Yeah.
lot of stuff online. You could do something, scale your scale, here we go, but scale a picture of your event online in part of that story and then have the testimonial on the side with maybe their picture and your picture at the bottom. Like they attended this event, they got value from this event, their children went to this event and the feedback that they received. Um, any of those things, just getting creative.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The thing with doing stuff for the youth and the kids is sometimes I cannot take a screen grab and put it anywhere because of the nature of the audience.
Mhm.
But I can definitely be creative and put something else there. I know that people like to see pictures of people, of other
Yes,
people.
but you
But
can think about this, Glennis. You can take a picture, like if you have the kids maybe be in a semicircle, you can take a picture from behind them.
Yeah, if you're in a room
okay,
live.
didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're
But the
only
thing
getting
is
back of the
mostly on
heads.
Zoom.
There's no personally identifiable information in that.
Mhm.
Mm,
Or use, if you have a pic, if I was doing a youth thing, I would maybe, if I could get a picture, I would go in Photoshop or through Canva, I would add like a little smiley face sticker over their face.
yeah. Okay.
So you can do fun things like that to protect their identity,
Yep.
but it still shows a real world happening.
Right. 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 Right.
Yep.
I like the smiley face. And just you're so right. Humor is the way to connect with kids. I have to develop my humorous bone.
It's there. You just got to let it out.
Oh, it's there. She knows how to get that out. She's amazing.
Awesome.
My joke book.
Oh, Jess has a 7-year-old as well as the baby. So she's like totally in the midst of, how to, she's a room mom and all that stuff. So she's She's got
Oh,
some current experience with how to get through to kids.
oh, I'm going to definitely brainstorm with her.
Awesome.
Mm.
All right.
Dr.
So
Millie, do you have any questions?
No, I'm good. I'm
Okay.
just thinking about all the things that you guys are talking about. I am a very how can I say? I like to use visuals a lot. Every time I post, I try to add some type of picture because as an educator, you know, we know that people learn in different ways, hands-on, visual, hearing, you know, so there's different things. So I always love to add something to help them to see or understand or even get it. So
mhm.
I love doing stuff like that.
Mhm.
Gifts
That's
is another good thing. I mean, you can create your own gifts.
mm,
That's another kind of cool thing. So if you do, and on what I don't know how the Samsungs work, but I know with iPhone, you can do live pictures and it gives you just a few seconds of movement prior
mm,
to and right after the picture is snapped. And so you can use a live photo to create even a real quick GIF that is just playing over and over. That's one thing, making reels and adding text to them. I mean, there's so many ways that we can connect.
Yep.
But totally agree with you, Millie. It's about thinking about all the ways that people learn and consume. And what if I can't get their attention, I have no way of educating them about what I do or what I sell or how I can help them. So getting their attention is the very first rule of order.
And think about branding, your colors, the timing, if you do it in portrait mode or landscape mode, where you place certain things, that all speaks about your brand. There's so many things if you're on Instagram, they'll talk about whatever, maybe do a color template and then
Mhm,
have several quotes in a carousel, right? To teach something. It's another
mhm,
way for people to start to know, like, and trust you. So you could put that even for your testimonials, try
mhm.
that for one day is to get 4 or 5 testimonials on a um what did I just
Carousel.
carousel. And then saying, right? So celebrating youth, Glennis, you could put something like that. And then the testimonials from the kids or the parents that are coming through. And so then you can reuse that as a reel and you can repost that onto different platforms on LinkedIn and in your own website. So
Right.
thinking and putting it in a blog, right? If you have a website and using your blog to post, so you're not always doing an email campaign, but putting a blog together so that people really know, what's happening. So those are kind
Mm,
of um, landmarks, if you will, on time. And people really want to go back and see, like, okay, so what happened here? You did an event. I'm posting about an event. Now, what happened from that? Who were the people that
mhm.
attended? And just what was the learning from it? Right. Don't hesitate to use blogs in that because you can share those on all social platforms once you have created the blog.
Okay. So do you do that too? Do you do your email campaign through MailChimp and then you also do a blog that you use and you promote on your social media? You do both.
So I am not real sophisticated on email. I just go through Wix and I do a lot of I've been doing a lot of posting on LinkedIn. So if you're following me on LinkedIn, I've got thousands of followers. And I will typically just kind of put an article together or something that I feel is I want to speak into, right? And then I share that. Sometimes I'll put that into my own blog on my website. So then I can share that in all kinds of social media. I can just link it to Facebook, Instagram, wherever.
LinkedIn, yeah.
And then if I want to specifically contact my audience, then I'll put an email campaign together, right?
Okay.
So, hey, this is something that I'm pushing out that I want you to know about, that I want to make sure that you learn. And so that would be different. So it's understanding what your content in is, how you want to use it, right? How you
Mhm.
connect it to certain audiences. Because the same audience on LinkedIn is not my same audience on Facebook. And we talked
Right,
about that the second day.
right.
So it just really, you can do the same thing. You can have different messages that you want to break out for all your different platforms.
Mhm.
Okay. And do you do that writing all yourself, or you have your VA do that?
I do mine all myself.
Mm,
I do all my own content creation as well. Now, does
okay.
that mean that I'm going to forever? You know, maybe not. The busier that I get, the less time I have, and I need to prioritize where is my time best spent, my gifts, where can I make the biggest impact in growing my business, which is helping other people. And there's ghostwriters out there, content creators who learn your voice, and you tell them, okay, I need an article about this, or I want an article about this. And then they go do all the research, they write the article, and they write it in your voice. So they look at what you have created to kind of learn your voice and then go back with you. I've talked to a couple of content editors, ghostwriters, because I'm preparing for the future. I
Yeah.
love creating content, but you know what I love more? Doing this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Actually being with people and helping them rather
Yeah.
than just creating content. So
Yeah.
Linda,
Definitely.
okay. Linda has a quick question.
Mhm.
She's following here on the Facebook group. So a carousel is on Instagram, and it's several posts. So you can create 5 or 6 different slides. And then when someone goes to that post, they'll just slide through each of your content that you've created. So you can do that in just adding, when you go into Instagram, you can just add it several images instead of just one image. You would just add it to the post and then continue to add those images. So you have to be in order, right? You have to kind of put it in order, think through it. And then as you post it, it'll come up as just a slider for people to look at.
Mhm. That works with stories too, right? On Facebook.
Yep.
So yeah, there's so much functionality in all these platforms that
Yeah.
of us just, it's overwhelming. It's
Just
like,
gotta find one that
ugh.
works, right? You gotta find one that you're on the most, that you feel most confident in, and
Mhm.
just try it. And then just try it, and then maybe move it to a different platform and see how that works.
Mhm. Yeah, because one piece of content does not work the same on every platform. I
Yeah.
can guarantee you that. I've had something that blew up on Facebook, got 0 on LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and vice versa. So, I'm trying to decide personally whether or not I need to move more into Instagram. And, it's like we talked about the other day. How many platforms can you realistically handle if you're doing all the work yourself? And even though I'm not sure about Instagram, I need to do some testing there. So, Melanie and I are experts at what we do, but we're also still always experimenting
Mhm.
and trying to learn more and up level ourselves so that we can help you all be better as well. But yeah, so don't be afraid to experiment, and don't think we don't know it all. We're always still learning.
Hey, we're here
And
to add
things are
value
always
to you,
changing.
get inspired, and learn stuff ourselves, right?
Mhm.
It's part
Mhm.
of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about authenticity. First of all, what is authenticity? And so this is number 1 here. Behaving authentically means acting in accord with one's values, preferences, and needs, as opposed to acting merely to please others. Wow, this could apply for a lot of things besides marketing. Comply with expectations or conform to social norms. Likewise, behavioral authenticity is limited when people act falsely to attain external rewards or to avoid punishments.
Mm.
So when we are behaving, and this, we're talking specifically here about marketing and your brand and being visible on social media. But when you are posting things just to be safe, are you being authentic? If you are posting things just to get likes, is that being authentic? And there's a lot of people out there that do that. They just don't understand how that's probably going to backfire on them in the long run.
Mhm.
So we want to make sure that what we're doing online is true to who we are, true to our passion for our product or service, and truly represents what our product or service can do for someone. You agree, Mel?
Yep, absolutely. Because it feels icky if you're not, right? You get backed into a wall. That's where the fear, the stress, the doubt about what your product is it really helping anybody? Because you haven't really stepped into that fully. So don't pretend. Don't try to, we talked about this the other day, people that post on certain social medias and they pay to have likes. And so, right, so that person posts one thing, the same thing that you're posting, all of a sudden they get 58,000 likes in less than 5 minutes. And you're like, "Well, how is that possible?" Well, it's not. So just know that it's
It's
not.
bots.
It's bots, and so if that person, right? So if your customer has the choice between you and that other person, and they go to that other person for help, do you think they're really going to be able to help them at the level that your heart is if you're posting authentically?
Mhm.
Well, probably not. Probably not, because that person is just looking for engagement right now. That's all they
Mhm.
want. And so
Instant gratification.
you have to stay true to everything that you know you are building, because those clients will show up to you. It's the law of magnetism.
Mhm.
People are going to show up to you when they see your heart, when they know the value that you have, when you have shared testimonials. People know that you will serve people authentically and get them from point A to point B.
And
That's what they want.
it works in every industry. It doesn't matter. Real estate, insurance,
Yes.
medical device sales. It doesn't matter if it's a product, if it's a crafting kit. It doesn't matter if it's we have a friend and colleague who owns a store, and she sells handmade lotions and um, soaps and things like that. It doesn't matter. If you cannot be authentic in your branding and your messaging, then you're not going to attract the right clients, the right customers. And when you are being true to who you are and what your product or service does, then you're not only going to attract the right clients and customers, they are going to become raving fans, and they are going to be happy to give you the testimonials, the reviews, and the referrals that we need to grow more quickly with less effort.
Yep.
Woo. Okay.
Woo!
Preach it.
Friday, here for day 4.
A big part of this is knowing that being you matters. Knowing yourself matters. Knowing your why matters. Because this is the basis for your marketing, how you build your customer experience out, how your employee experience is built out. If we are not knowing our values, what matters to us, and why we do what we do, how can we create something that's authentic? So it's critical to understand these things. And I see, as a business coach, this is one of the biggest, and probably typically the first area I work on with a business coaching client, even those that have been in business for a long time. They might have known their why in the beginning. They might have felt like they knew themselves in the beginning, but over time we change, things change, our businesses change, and they get stuck or they plateau and they don't understand why.
Mhm.
They can't get over the hump. And it's usually taking back and going back to the being you. Who are you? What's authentic to you? What are your values? What is it that makes you want to get up and come in every day and run your business? What is your why? And knowing the why of what you're doing, I think, is different than knowing your personal operating system why, which is what Melanie is an expert in.
Mhm.
So can you talk just a little bit about that difference, Mel?
Yeah, you know, a lot of us will say, "Hey," um, and we hear about it all the time, right? My why is to lose weight because I'm getting ready to go into a class reunion, or, you know, my family, the kids are getting ready to go to college, so we're saving money. That's the why, that we don't spend our money. But the why operating system that has been created from the Why Institute, this is so different. This is so different. And I teach it, I've been teaching it for almost 3 years now. And the scenario is this, right? It starts with our soul. It starts with how, when we talk about authenticity, it's what people see us show up as that we sometimes don't even see in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 9 descriptors, there are 9 whys, and this process is like Strength Finders, is like DISC, is like Colby, is like Enneagram, you know, but it gives you the process to start at the very beginning. So when you think about how you do what you do and you know your DISC, that's really what the activation part in what we respond to. So if we say, you know, the house is on fire, how are we going to do that? Well, if you're an ID, you're going to get everybody involved. You're going to make all the decisions. You're going to make sure that, you know, we get everything in order to get the people safe. If you're an ID, that would be how you would do it. Um, However, if you are a why of one of these 9 whys, Shelley and I took this assessment and we know that we have tested as challengers. So when we talk about imposter syndrome, this is where the why is really important, because for many, many years, I would have told you that I would have thought, if I looked at this scale of whys, that I was a contributor. And that means that you show up to add value. That's all you're doing. You're showing up to add value. However, when that is not your why from your soul, that is not how you test in this process, you feel like an imposter. You feel out of place. You don't know how to respond to things. You don't know how to participate. You don't know how to give your all. You don't know how to step in authentically to every piece of building your marketing plan, building your business, building your life, picking your spouse, you know, the things that the things that attract you or the things that are going to drive you crazy. But if you know your why and you know how you operate in your life, that gives you kind of the baseline. And so, as Shelley, I introduced this to Shelley a few years ago, and really describing ourselves now as these challengers. We are our soul is to challenge the status quo. It's how we show up with everything. Yeah, we may contribute in the end, but that's not why we show up. We're not showing up here just to add value to you. We're showing up here because we know that you can create something different that you've never imagined. That's what drives us. That's why we are partnering together in this vision, because we know that that drives us for everything that we do. Our customers flock to us because they want something created that is completely different than they've ever thought. It's not a comparison. Take your Canva and just put in the bells and whistles and go do it. It's got to be you. It's got to be your brand, your authentic voice. And when you do that, you differentiate yourself among everybody else in the world. We
Mhm.
know that. And that's what drives us. And that's where we can help you get to that next level. That's the why that we're talking about. So when you understand that from a biological standpoint, we talk about the biology of scale. It is about the biology of your brain and how you form loyalty and trust with others through this Y operating system.
Mhm.
And it is not complicated, but it is powerful. And when you know it, you can live your life fully and wholly and step into everything else in your life.
And that kind of, I'm going to segue in with DISC here because when you know your why, when you know that where your heart, where your passion is and what drives you, and then you know your personality style or blend of styles through DISC and how to communicate, how that shows up in your communication, then it allows you to connect with other people by adapting to their styles. And that helps us in our marketing because we need to remember through our marketing, we're speaking not just to our own style. And that's how we typically want to market, is to our style. So we
Yeah.
have to remember, there's people out there that are influencers and those driven people who only want bullet points. And then there are the people who are steady, and they want to know that if they work with you, it's and they buy your product, that it's going to maintain their safety for them and their families. And then you have those people who are very logical, the concise, and so they want more information. So we have to think about all the styles when we're marketing, maintaining our own authenticity, but honoring and valuing other people's whys and other people's styles, and then just bringing it all together. And this does not have to be complicated. Don't overthink it. Just be aware of it.
Just be aware of it, because when you start to do all of your marketing pieces from your authentic voice, you start to really pay attention to who's responding to you.
Mhm.
And then you start to pay attention to what they do and how they do it. Right. And so that personality starts to kind of allow you to know who you're attracting.
Mhm. Who's your tribe?
Who's
Are
your
you
tribe?
attracting your tribe?
Who's your tribe?
Mhm.
What an
So
awesome 4 days, Shelley. This has
I
been
know.
amazing.
So here's the last homework, and y'all can drop this in the Facebook group. Start looking for those visual representations of metaphor. Start taking selfies or professional pictures, leaving room on the sides, top, bottom, etc. for your text. Ask 3 clients or customers for a review or testimonial and a referral. And then the next is asking some questions of yourself. What does it feel like to function from a place of authenticity? Feel like, not look like. I want to know here, or we want to know here, what does it feel like? We want you to emotionally tie in. What in your online presence and marketing has been working? Because we know some of your marketing's working, or you wouldn't still be around in sales or your business. And I know Jess is just getting started. Maybe some others of our members are too. But what has been working? Because we're not trying to change everything. We're just trying to up level or tweak. And then based on that, what might you do differently or add to your online presence? And then finally, dancing in the field of possibility. Ask for, receive, and post at least one new client or customer review or testimonial. And please drop it in the group first if you would like feedback. And then if you use Canva or Adobe to create a post, and you can do this in some other things too. I know in Facebook, you can do some editing to add text and things like that, and some background sparkly stuff. I've done that before too. Use some of your new offset landscape pictures to create fun and authentic posts. So we have gone over a few minutes, but oh my goodness, I'm so thankful and grateful for all of you who have been able to join us live. And for those, we know everyone has a busy schedule and we drop this like a hot potato on y'all. Like, we're going to do a challenge. We're going to start it tomorrow.
That's right.
But these are the things that we want to continue to provide in our free group. This is stuff we're providing in our free groups. And we also want to remind you that we are running a live event that's going to cover mindset and the why that Melanie talked about, including the assessment, and DISC style personality behavior, including that assessment, among other things. And that's coming up the end of October, my birthday weekend, actually. And in Bloomington, Indiana at the Graduate Hotel. And if you want to get more information about joining us there, we're only going to have 50 seats available, period. This is going to be an intimate, exclusive, we are going to get to know each other and help each other event. And so www.scaleforwomen.com is where you can get more information about the live event, as well as the membership levels that we are starting, which will have some additional benefits, additional types of trainings that we're going to offer, additional opportunities that we're going to be offering through those membership levels. Melanie, you want to wrap us up and take us out?
Here we go. So ladies, don't miss this opportunity. Dive in. We've got over 113, 14 people in this group now in just a week. So keep inviting your friends. This has been an amazing way to kick off how we are scaling this platform, scaling this platform for you. I have so many people in this group that I have heard or reached out to, or they've reached out to me and said, hey, I need help. I need a coach to do this. This is what this group is about. This is what this group is about. We are here to pour into you the things that we've learned, the things that we want to know, to learn from each other. So don't hesitate to reach out to us, to put things here in the chat, to let us know how we can serve you. This was something that we really felt everybody was asking for, this 4-day challenge, because everybody needs a tweak. And it's whether you're got kids going back to school or you're still in summer, now's the time to get things ready for 2023 and really start ramping things up. So we're here to serve you. Thank you so much for all of you participating online. And again, girls with us that are live, congratulations to you. You've completed the 4-day challenge. Woo! So we will see you again soon. We have the next things we're rolling out. And please let us know what it is that you need specifically and how we can add value to you. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Peace.